Moving to the next item is educator licensing renewal. And Ben Rasmussen, Amalia, are you going to, which one of you are going to take point on this opportunity? And it's usually, there's a reason why it's on our agenda here and not in our, in a committee. And can you speak to the time and a little bit of the urgency as for background, please? Ben, are you taking point?
Malia will be, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, happy to do so, Chair. Malia Height, Educator Licensing Coordinator. It has been brought to our attention in educator licensing over the last several months, all of the things that our educators are doing right now in our Utah schools, and all of the incidental learning that they have been doing and working and learning far beyond any of their contract hours to serve Utah students. And so in a way to acknowledge all of that learning that they have done in the last few years, we propose that any educator who's been active during these pandemic years be awarded their 20 hours of professional learning and acknowledge that on their renewal, so that they would have 20 hours per year of service to acknowledge that learning and their dedication and perseverance over the last several years, or the last few years. And so the urgency is that we're in renewal season right now, and with this amendment, we would be able to allow educators to capitalize on this adjustment and make the renewal process just a tiny bit simpler in a year where they're doing so much. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
So we don't have it takes a motion here to approve that R277-302 draft one. We don't have one on the table yet, but does anyone have any questions, or does somebody want to make a motion? The time is yours. Vice Chair Belknap. I'm trying to get them as they come up.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion, Chair, that the board approve our 277-302 draft one on final reading.
Second, Molly Hart.
Okay, would you like to speak to the motion, Vice Chair Belknap?
Yes, I only wish that I knew exactly how many hours, I think it's 200 hours needed and how many you get for teaching and so on and so forth. So I'm just so for this. That's all I'm going to say on this. Thanks.
Okay, Vice Chair Davis.
Love it.
Okay. Member Earl.
Okay, so, and that is what I was going to ask is what's the percent of this? In other words, what's the percent of the amount of renewal points to what they're asking for here?
Malia, do you want to answer that question?
Yes, happy to, Chair. So an educator to renew their professional educator license, which is a 5-year license, requires only 20 hours of renewal activity in each year. It's important to know that teachers no longer get credit for teaching. There's no renewal hours that are attached to teaching, and that was a decision that the board made when we went to the new system a couple of years ago, so that we could ease the way for our inactive educators to come back to the field, and we've seen that as a great benefit. The other thing that is important to know is that LEAs are currently required to provide 20 hours of renewal activity to each of their employees, licensed employees. And so this is simplifying the things that we already know. We already know that they're gaining these 20 hours as required by the LEA, in addition to all of the special things that they have done in the last 3 years.
Thank you, Malia. I was just wondering on the percent, so thank you. It sounds like 60 to 100. Is that, am I estimating that right? Out of the 5 years, this would be 60, so a little over 50. Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, Vice Chair Belknap.
Sorry, Chair, one more clarifying question. So Malia, on this, you have the years here. And so what about those who are going to relicense next year and the year after, who their 5-year fits in those years.
So with this amendment, any educator who is active during 1, 2, or all 3 of the years specified in rule would get those 20 hours. So if your license wasn't going to renew for another 2 more years, you would still gain these 60 hours of renewal.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. I'm not seeing any other hands raised. The motion before the board is that the board approve R277-302 draft 1 on final reading. Board members at this time, please vote. The voting is complete and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.